A very good evening and welcome to this Sunday's edition of Primetime News, coming to you live from our Newsfirst studios in Colombo. We have many local, international and sports stories lined up for you this evening. But before that, here's a look at your headlines.
No coronavirus patients in Sri Lanka. Authorities confirm suspected patients were not diagnosed with the virus. Death toll from virus in China rises to 56. 150 Sri Lankan students to be brought back to the island in the next 48 hours. Sajid convenes UNF local government representatives to Colombo.
Sada කාලිකව මේ පක්ෂය කිසිම පුද්ගලයකට හෝ කණ්ඩායමකට සින්නක් කරොප්පුවෙන් දීලා නැතේ කියන එක මම මේ අවස්ථාවේ කියන්නට කැමතියි.
Well, the coronavirus is a topic that is being discussed widely here in Sri Lanka as well as the world over. We are now joined by Newsfirst Sharon Benedict with a comprehensive report about the virus. Sharon, do start off by telling us about the situation here in Sri Lanka with regard to the coronavirus.
Well, Arundhati, there have been many reports that have been circulating among the general public regarding the spread of the coronavirus, more specifically regarding the spread of the coronavirus here in Sri Lanka. But here is an accurate update of the true ground situation here in the country. First, of course, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa has instructed Health Minister Pavitra Vaniyarachchi to appoint a National Action Committee to prevent the spread of the coronavirus here in Sri Lanka. The first meeting of the committee will be chaired by Health Minister Pavitra Vaniyarachchi at 5 p.m. tomorrow. Discussions will, of course, focus on the future action plan and how the action committee, the National Action Committee that was appointed, plans on preventing the spread of the coronavirus here in Sri Lanka. Now, Sri Lankans, of course, were taken by shock when 4 patients, including 2 Chinese women who were suspected to have contracted the coronavirus, were admitted to the infectious disease hospital in Colombo. However, the National Medical Research Institutes, after the preliminary examination of the blood samples of these 4 patients, confirmed that they have not contracted the coronavirus. Of course, an accurate final report will be put out within the next 24 hours. Let's take a look at a few more developments of the coronavirus here in Sri Lanka.
2 Chinese women and a Sri Lankan man and a woman had been admitted to the infectious disease hospital in Angoda last evening. While the patients are still being treated at the special treatment unit of the hospital, their blood samples were sent to the National Medical Research Institute. It has now been confirmed that the patients had not been infected by the coronavirus. Director of the National Medical Research Institute, Dr. Jairuwan Bandara, said that examinations into the matter will continue. The director of the National Medical Research Institute also confirmed that there are no reported cases of coronavirus in Sri Lanka. Meanwhile, a group of Chinese youth volunteers had visited the infectious disease hospital this afternoon for a screening.
2
Chinese women from the Wuhan region and 1 Sri Lankan woman who studied in Wuhan were admitted to the infectious disease hospital on the 24th and 25th of this month as they were suffering from fever and respiratory diseases. We are conducting examinations. When these patients were admitted, they were only slightly ill and now they have gotten much better. Also, initial examinations have confirmed that they have not been infected by the coronavirus. We will be able to confirm this within the next 24 hours. If someone has fever and respiratory diseases and body aches, you must report them to our medical unit. But when someone is arriving in Sri Lanka and they do not suffer from any fever or respiratory diseases, there is no need for them to be detained and screened.
Well, this is the time period where people in China celebrate the Chinese New Year. Now, many public gatherings and celebrations of the Chinese New Year have been cancelled in China. However, many Chinese nationals residing in Sri Lanka or working in Sri Lanka travel to China to celebrate the Chinese New Year. Of course, the celebrations are due to conclude in a few short days, and all of these Chinese nationals who travel to China from Sri Lanka will be returning back to the country. Journalists today questioned Foreign Minister Dinesh Gunawardena on the steps taken to screen these Chinese nationals who are re-entering the island for possible infections of the coronavirus.
As of now, the Ministry of Health has already installed special scanning machines at the airport. The President has also given orders to allocate multiple sections of wards at the AUDIT in Colonnava. This examination is not only for the people of this country, but it also includes foreigners.
Now, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa has instructed the relevant authorities to immediately repatriate all students and residents, Sri Lankan residents in Wuhan and Sichuan states where the virus is rapidly spreading. Now, accordingly, the first batch of Sri Lankans are due to arrive in the island within the next 48 hours.
The presidential media unit stated today that the entry and exit to the Wuhan province where the virus has spread has been prohibited and action will be taken to bring them back as soon as the ban is lifted. Accordingly, nearly 150 students from the Wendu capital of Sichuan will be repatriated within the next 48 hours. The presidential media unit said that a special flight which belongs to Sri Lankan Airlines will be used for this matter. Meanwhile, several Sri Lankan students in Wuhan expressed their views on the problems faced by them.
There are
about 32 Sri Lankan students and members of their families living in the boarding houses. Though none of the Sri Lankans have been diagnosed with the coronavirus, we are in grave danger. The food and water that we stored are quickly depleting, and as a result of the risk outside, we are unable to step outside to get them. The public transportation and aviation services have been terminated. We ask the Sri Lankan government to bring us to Sri Lanka as quickly as possible.
These roads that you see are usually quite busy. The number of vehicles are low these days. There are over 40 Sri Lankan students in Tianjin. It has been reported that none of them are contracted with the coronavirus. They hope to go to Sri Lanka in the coming few days.
We are taking all the necessary measures on the instruction of the Foreign Affairs Ministry and the President to return them to Sri Lanka. In this regard, we have contacted the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Beijing, also the Provincial Foreign Office in Hubei province where the Wuhan city is located, asking their permission to bring the Sri Lankan airline aircraft and then take all of 32 Sri Lankan students currently staying in Wuhan. I'm expecting a response from the Chinese authorities during the course of today or tomorrow. And as soon as we get the clearance, we will make necessary arrangements. We have to follow the local regulations set out by the Chinese authorities with regard to the health measures.
The epidemiology unit of the Ministry of Health states that all who come to Sri Lanka from China will be brought to the country after being quarantined at the airport.
Now, Shalan, there are over 2,000 cases of coronavirus reported globally, and would you like to tell us about the situation in China at present?
Yes, Arundhati. Now, China, the Wuhan province in China has been identified as the source of this virus. However, the exact cause of the virus has not yet been confirmed. However, the Wuhan province continues to be under strict lockdown with transportation services being cut off from the rest of the country. Now, however, although the coronavirus has not been reported in a number of countries, including Sri Lanka and across the globe, the coronavirus is rapidly spreading in China. The death toll due to the coronavirus in China alone has risen to 56. Here is a comprehensive update on the situation in China.
Over 2,000 cases of coronavirus infections have been reported in China and across the world. 8 cases of coronavirus infections were reported from Australia and Malaysia. The first corona infection in Europe was reported from France. A person affected with the coronavirus was also detected from Canada. The Health Ministry in Canada said that the patient had arrived in the country from Wuhan, China. With the spread of the disease, a state of emergency has been declared in Hong Kong, cutting off all transport links with China. This was after 5 patients were confirmed to have contracted the coronavirus in Hong Kong. The United States said that an aircraft was sent to bring back members of its diplomatic missions and American citizens in Wuhan. Cases of coronavirus have been reported from countries including Thailand, Vietnam, Singapore, Japan, South Korea, Taiwan, Nepal and America.
Well, thank you, Shalan, for bringing us that comprehensive report. Moving on to other local news, we have been reporting on the contents of the forensic audit of the central bank over the weekend. We previously reported on the loss of over 16 billion rupees between 2008 and 2015 suffered by the Employees Provident Fund, revealed by the forensic audit report on the central bank bond scam. The report also highlighted the fact that these market malpractices were conducted since before 2015. Today, we focus the attention on the 5th volume of the forensic audit report, found that gaps were noted in the assessment of requirement for the appointment of new primary dealers. It added that the views of the Supervision Department against the appointment of Perpetual Treasuries Limited as a new primary dealer were not presented to the Monetary Board.
The report says the appointment of Perpetual Treasuries Limited was recommended in the board paper under then-Governor Ajit Niwad Cabral on the 9th of May 2013. However, the assessment criteria has not included the assessment to identify the credibility, expertise of holding company or directors and capacity for investment by the primary dealer. The risk-based approach defined for supervision requires assessment of risks of primary dealers such as liquidity risk, market risk, legal, reputational risk management and strategic risk. One of the key findings as mentioned in the report is that the supervision function's risk-focused approach has not identified risks comprehensively, such as the risks a primary dealer brings on to the government securities market. These risks include market manipulation, money laundering, corruption and insider trading that impacts investor confidence and financial system stability. According to the report, there were certain non-compliances or deviations which were noted consistently across the primary dealers, indicating the potential systematic deficiencies in terms of procedures towards regulation, policy and operational guidelines. It added that there were no penalties levied or applied for repeated deviations, and these violations were not highlighted to the Monetary Board for regulatory action. Certain key documents evidencing the assessment performed by the examiner and explanations sought and reviewed during the examination were also not documented. The report went on to note that operations are handled through manual process and does not leverage on the technological advancements that enable effectiveness of the function both at the operations and monitoring levels. Review of the process for reporting to the Monetary Board revealed that the reporting process is driven by the division and not driven by the Monetary Board. Instances of examinations not conducted as per the approval of the annual plan, examinations not conducted at the defined frequency, significant delays in completion of examination, delays in reporting of findings or non-submission of examination reports by the division to the Monetary Board were not identified as part of the reporting process.
An almsgiving was organized today to mark the birthday of the chief incumbent of the Abhayarama Vihara, Most Venerable Murutetwe Ananda Thera. The event was held at the Abhayarama temple.
The event was attended by President Gotabaya Rajapaksa, Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa, Minister Chamal Rajapaksa and several other politicians. 112 Theras, including the Mahanayaka Thera of the Sri Lanka Amarapura sect, Most Venerable Kotugoda Dhammavasa Thera and Professor Venerable Kotapitiya Rahula Thera were present at the occasion.
Gotabaya Rajapaksa ape janadipatitumaට අයවැයක් මොකක්වත් නැති රටක් තමයි බාර දුන්නේ. අපි එතුමාලට කාලය දෙන්න ඕන ටික කාලයක් නුදුන්නොත් අපි හැමදාම කියනවානේ ඔබතුමාලටත් අපි UNP කාලෙන්න ගහපු ගැහියට තමයි ගහන්නේ කියන එක අපි හැමදාම මතක් කරා.
After the event, the President presented dry rations to a group of pregnant mothers.
Former President Maithripala Sirisena expressed these views at a public meeting in Polonnaruwa yesterday.
We signed an agreement with President Gotabaya Rajapaksa in October to ensure his victory. It was because of the support given to him by the Sri Lanka Freedom Party that he achieved a great victory. Then there is an agreement that says they can win the parliamentary election and form a government together. The same incidents that happened to me in 2015 is happening to Gotabaya Rajapaksa now. As of today, even though President Gotabaya Rajapaksa is the president, he has no power over the parliament. Meanwhile, MP Namal Rajapaksa, speaking at a public rally in Anuradhapura yesterday, said that his hope is to form a government led by the Podujana Peramuna. To create a strong parliament, we should work towards creating a single government along with Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa. Now the next step should be making this party, which was created for Mahinda Rajapaksa and strengthened in a short time in Sri Lanka, to be the majority party in parliament. Meanwhile, several MPs and ministers representing the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna were seen openly criticizing the Sri Lanka Freedom Party and its leadership at public events held yesterday and today. The Sri Lanka Freedom Party is now saying that they will support us to obtain a two-thirds majority. That is very good. I believe that the Sri Lanka Freedom Party should contest and help President Gotabaya Rajapaksa get a two-thirds majority. Do not just wait and ask for the bigger share here. If the Sri Lanka Freedom Party contests separately, they won't be able to secure more than 4 seats.
The people of Tissapur area in Mahayangane spoke to us about the main problem that they are faced with. This is a report about their problem.
Several villagers have met with accidents when crossing the temporary bridge built across Kudaoya in Tissapura. The main road from Tissapura, Mahiyangane to Unapandurevela and Varapitiya villages fall across this wooden bridge built across Kudaoya. The bridge was built by area residents some time ago. When the water levels of Kudaoya increase, the bridge goes underwater and travelling along the road becomes impossible. One of my aunts is receiving treatment at the Kandy General Hospital after falling from this bridge. There is no one to look into our plight. The Grama Sevaka takes this road once every 2 to 3 years. I am a disabled soldier. One cannot set foot here because it is very slippery. Although how much we are careful, we hope that the officials will take measures to rectify this problem. Area residents request that a strong bridge be built over the Kudaoya with the intervention of officials of the Mahiyangane Pradeshya Sabha or officials of the Uva Provincial Council.
The Constitutional Council has focused its attention on the order issued by the Attorney General for the arrest of High Court Judge Gihan Pilapitiya. This was when the meeting of the Constitutional Council was chaired by Speaker Karujaya Surya on Friday.
The Communications Department of Parliament issuing a communique stated that the possibility of the general public's trust in the judiciary being damaged by the order issued by the Attorney General was discussed at the meeting. The communique states that extensive discussions were held on the effect the order by the Attorney General had on the independence of the judiciary and the professional integrity of the judges. The communique adds that it was decided at the meeting for the Speaker to summon the Attorney General and inquire about the decision. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa, Opposition Leader Sajith Premadasa, R. Sambandhan, Mahinda Samarasinghe, Thalata Atukorala, members of the civil society, Attorney General Javud Yusuf and N. Selvakumaran were present at the meeting.
Opposition leader Sajith Premadasa stated that the UNP has not written to any individual or group during a meeting with UNP local government representatives in Colombo today. The opposition leader stated that he is ready to give the people the alternative they expect in the general election.
The local government representatives and candidates of the United National Front met in Colombo this afternoon under the patronage of opposition leader Sajith Premadasa. The meeting, which was held under the title Aluting Hitamu Nagitimu, was attended by many party leaders who represent the UNF. Engaging in deceitful politics and striking deals with others are not suitable for our party, our alliance or our country. We have to embark upon a definite change if we are to go forward. Old methods are not valid anymore. Especially as a party, we have to ensure democracy within our party. Remember this well. We will never split or break away. Our unity will not be achieved by striking deals with our opponents. When you leave this place, please take it to heart that we will embark on an entirely new journey headed towards the victory of the general election.
මෙතනින් පිට වෙලා යනකොට හිත හදාගන්න අලුත් ගමනක් තුලින් මෙවර මහ මැතිවරණය අපි දිනනවාමයි. අපි එතනට යනවා.
We will get there. This party is not handed over to anyone. Hundreds and thousands of people are waiting for a new solution to be presented at the general election.
මේ රටේ ලක්ෂ සංඛ්‍යාත ජනතාව බලාගෙන ඉන්නවා අලුත් විකල්පයක් මහ මැතිවරණයේදී නිර්මාණය වෙනක. ඒ අලුත් විකල්පය දෙන්නට අපි ලෑස්ති.
We are ready to give you that solution. We are ready to take you on that new journey. I ask you to be strong to embark on this new journey with us. I ask you to raise your hand if you are willing to embark on that journey with us as Democrats.
ප්‍රජාතන්ත්‍රවාදියෙක් හැටියට ඒ ගමනට ඔබලාගේ කැමැත්ත පළ කරන්නයි කියලා අත්උස්සල මම ඉල්ලීමක් කරනවා. සියලු දෙනාම කැමතිද? එනනම් මේ අලුත් ගමනට අකමැති කවුරුත් ඉන්නවද? මින් ඉදිරියට.
From this point onwards, the times where you had to raise your hand by influence will come to an end. We have started a new era where you can speak freely, openly and according to your conscience. We have not prepared anyone to hoot at someone else, to raise your hand by force or to put your hand down by force. No one called from Sirikota and gave advice.
කාටවත් සිරිකොතෙන් කතා කරලා උපදෙස් දුන්නේ නැහැ. මේ වෙලාවට අත්උස්සන්න, මේ වෙලාවට අප්පුඩි ගහන්න, අර වෙලාවට හූතියන්නේ කියලා. ඒ වගේ දේවල් වලටත් මම මුහුණ දුන්නා. නමුත් මම දැන් හොඳට
Therefore, let us embark on it. Won't look down upon anyone.
ඒ නිසා මිත්‍රවරුනි කිසිම කෙනෙක් කොන් කරන්නේ නැති අලුත් ගමනක් යමු.
I believe that this village is a village that is part of the party. Just like those in Colombo 7 claim ownership, the opposition leader, the leadership and all of us have to understand as to what will happen if we do not do what the supporters require from the party. I still ask the opposition leader, let us go on to the street. We will not get power served on a platter. You have to fight for that power.
බන්දේසිය දීලා අපිට කවදාවත් හම්බ වෙන්නෙත් නැහැ. ඒකට සටන් කරන්න ඕන.
ඒකම සමහරු කියනවා මේක පෙරදුනේ සංවිධායකයෝ නිසා කියලා.
Some say that we lost the fight because of the organizers. That is not the problem. It is a problem of the party or the organization. On the 15th of February, the Rajapaksa government will provide jobs to 100,000 people. Another 54,000 graduates will receive employment. We couldn't even provide 100 jobs during the last 4 years. We failed to create a proper organization. What has happened today? The bond scam has created a loss. In the era of the Rajapaksas, a bond scam of 10.4 billion had taken place. That doesn't mean that it didn't happen during our time. 6.2 million people paid the price for our mistake. We challenge them to take judicial action forward against both the scams. Bring Arjuna Mahendran and Ajit Cabral before the law.
අපි රාජපක්ෂලාට අභියෝග කරනවා.
India celebrated its Republic Day today.
Meanwhile, in Sri Lanka, a flag hoisting ceremony was held at the Indian High Commission in Colombo. Indian High Commissioner to Sri Lanka, Taranjit Singh Sandhu, graced the event.
We the people are the prime movers of the Republic. With us, the people of India, rests the real power to decide our collective future. Our Constitution gave us rights as citizens of a free democratic nation, but also placed on us the responsibility to always adhere to the central tenets of our democracy, justice, liberty, equality and fraternity.
Another ceremony to mark the Indian Republic Day was held in Kandy this morning. Meanwhile, a ceremony to mark this important day for India was also held in Jaffna today.
The state of Qatar has offered to help Sri Lanka to establish a reliable network for clean energy production.
Issuing a press release, President's Media Division said it will bring in a consortium of top-notch companies in the energy sector for the purpose. Saad Sharida Al-Kabi, the Minister of State for Energy Affairs of the State of Qatar, made his pledge at the Presidential Secretariat this morning. The visiting minister has requested to nominate a focal point from the Sri Lankan side to discuss matters relating to the implementation of his country's proposal. In response, President Rajapaksa said that he was very keen on securing Qatari cooperation in the area of energy generation. 2015. He also said that his plan was to meet 80% of the country's energy requirements from sources of renewable energy in the future. The President nominated his secretary Dr. P.B. Jayasundara as his representative, and he will be invited to visit Doha for further discussions. President Rajapaksa also said that he wished to enhance bilateral cooperation with the state of Qatar beyond energy production and requested markets for our tea, vegetables, especially organic, and fruits.
Police stated that a special traffic plan will be in place surrounding the Colombo Independence Square from today onwards due to the 72nd National Independence Day celebration rehearsals.
Accordingly, the special traffic plan will be in operation today, the 31st, as well as on the 2nd and 3rd of next month. Police said during those days the traffic plan will be in effect from 6 a.m. to 1 p.m. According to the traffic plan, the entry from Glasshouse Junction towards Nanda Motors, from the Library Junction towards Glasshouse, and entry to the Ananda Kumaraswamy Mawatha has been suspended. Additionally, the entrance to F.R. Senanayaka Mawatha from Dharmapala Mawatha, the entrance to Kanangara Mawatha from the Soiza roundabout, and the entrance to Kanangara Mawatha through Rossmead Place from Vijayarama Mawatha will be suspended. The entrance to Maitland Place and Premakirithri Alvis Mawatha from Bauddha Loka Mawatha and the entrance to Padanam Mawatha through Stanley Vijayasundara Mawatha has also been suspended during the rehearsal period.
President Gotabaya Rajapaksa received the study on managing foreign policy and relations with the UN system recently prepared by the Pathfinder Foundation at the Presidential Secretariat.
The study carried out by the Pathfinder Foundation covered the dynamics of bilateral relations between Sri Lanka and its major foreign partners, including India, China and the United States of America, based on Colombo's support for China's mega project, the Belt and Road Initiative, and the interest of the US and its allies in the free and open Indo-Pacific. The other broad subject addressed in the Pathfinder study is the status of Sri Lanka's relations with the United Nations system, with special focus on the work of the Geneva-based Human Rights Council and Sri Lanka's decision to support and co-sponsor Resolution 30/1 on the human rights situation in the country in 2015. The study provides several options for the government to take in consultation with the Human Rights Council based on ground realities and in keeping with the constitution of the country. The study was prepared with assistance of retired senior personnel of the armed forces and those who have had thorough knowledge on matters relating to the United Nations and the Human Rights Council and its predecessor, the Commission on Human Rights.
The second-year remembrance and memorial lecture of Deshapandhu late Mr. D. Iswaran was held today.
Late Mr. D. Iswaran, who was a business leader, was the chairman of the famed Iswaran Brothers Private Limited, a premier tea supplier. D. Iswaran was the eldest son of the late V.T.V. Devanayagam Pillai, a well-known philanthropist and founder of Iswaran Brothers, and late Mrs. Devanayagam Pillai. A product of St. Benedict's College, Kotahena, he pursued higher education in India. The memorial lecture today was delivered by Swami Mitrananda, who is a spiritual teacher of the Chinmaya mission. The theme of the lecture was High Five for a Holistic Life.
And with that, we wrap up tonight's edition of Primetime News. Thank you very much for joining us. Good night.